show actually came from us learning how to leverage our voice and have even more of an impact and influence. And there are a couple of business communities that I do run in, and they encourage me like, get out there, tell your story. How do you make an impact beyond just selling a home? And
Yeah.
so what we knew and what we do know is wealth is so like money, that's just one piece of it.
Yeah.
Again, if you don't have a mission, if you're not anchored, if you're not connected to purpose, like what you doing it for, right?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Mastermind Thinks podcast. I am super excited for my guest today. This is the first time that we brought a couple on, and so I'm excited to share the story that they had with you. I actually got to meet them in person more than once. I actually one at an event. The second one was actually working with them on an event that they were throwing, and so super excited to share what they have for you. And that's Dwayne and Shaun. How are you guys doing today?
Hey, Chris, we're doing well.
Good,
Yo, it's so good to have you guys on. So real quick for the audience, let's give them that origin story. Who are Dwayne and Shaun, and like how did you guys get started? What do you have like going on right now?
All right, so which one of us is going to get started?
I'll let you do it.
This is what happens when you have couples. All right, so we are Shaun and Dwayne Venable, or Dwayne and Shaun Venable from DSV Legacy Estates. And Chris, quite frankly, we are on this ambitious mission to build generational wealth, primarily through real estate, and help others in their journey to do the same. We are truly blessed. So our business started out as just real estate investment, and then we began to mentor in that space. And then as a subset of that, because we continue to grow, I ventured out into mentoring and coaching women that are like me, who are looking for multiple streams of income. So we're just on this mission, on this journey to build and to help others do the same.
That's so cool. What made y'all jump? Like, why was real estate the thing for you guys? Was there something that you were already doing in real estate, or how did you guys get in that space?
I'm getting ready to make you laugh because I want to let Dwayne tell his version, and then maybe my version will match with his. With
Okay.
Dwayne.
Oh man, this is something that kind of been in my heart for a long time. Really, 20 plus years. I was dibbling and dabbling in different things, mainly renovations. Though, there was a lady in this area. She was not a flipper. She was a buy and hold, and basically she would buy a house and basically ask us, me and my partner, if we could turn them in 30 days. And that's basically what we were doing. We would go in, turn them in 30 days, give them back to her, and go from there. So years, I was trying to figure this out. Couldn't figure it out back then, like how to get it done. But then me and Shaun were kind of like on different journeys as far as that goes. She wasn't really into it yet. She didn't really see the benefit of it because, we didn't. Well, we weren't able to really do it like we could now. And actually, then we got together. We were heading into COVID, and then, things were getting to be, kind of scary. And then people were losing jobs as far as, everything goes. And I'll let Shaun jump in here because this is where she came in. And then we kind of came together and started to really gel. And once we started on the same page, we were on the same page. It was just like, boom. And we got introduced to some phenomenal people who were able to give us some great advice and open our eyes, basically, because I like to say a lot of we were asleep. Basically, we didn't know. We didn't really know. So I'll let Shaun jump in there because that's where she came into the picture. I like to hear her part.
So fast forward 20 years later. I think for me, this was about, it was two things. Number one, well, actually three. Number one, moving beyond your comfort zone, right? Tapping into your purpose and doing what God has created and designed for you to do. That's going to far outlive you. And quite frankly, when COVID hit, we call ourselves the 9-to-5 corporate athletes. Like we are both still on our 9-to-5, and we've been blessed to just really have an opportunity to shift and change some things in that perspective. Both leaders in that, right? But when COVID hit, I'm like, if my 9-to-5 quit me, what are we going to do?
Right.
What are we going to do? And so that's when it started to really tap into my heart. Like, what do we have in our hands? What have we always been passionate about? And also, what can we build together? We have been married for 23 or 24 years, 20 a lot of years. Yeah, 20 a lot of years.
What you hit 20 is forever, right?
Yeah, and together like a lot longer than that. And it's beautiful to see now as we are merging even more as one, we're able to build a business together that has so much meaning behind it. So it was a no-brainer. We didn't know a lot about real estate. What we knew is we had a dream, we had a passion, we had tenacity, and we had a will to learn. And that's what got us started.
So how long has DSV been how long has it been DSV?
Oh goodness! So we are 2 years
Okay.
old.
Nice.
But prior to that, we were in the stage of not officially a company, but mentoring under individuals from a real estate perspective and an investment perspective for a year prior to. So when we launched, we hit the ground running.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool. So, and look, I got to ask this, right? Because me personally, I'm always about the just entrepreneurship life. I'm like, look, I can spend 100 hours a week at this thing because it's what I love. And so every time I hear you guys say the 9-to-5 corporate athlete, I'm like, how in the world do y'all have 9-to-5s, a whole family, and a whole nother business it's not a small business? Like, that's the part that like, how do y'all balance that?
I'll you can go first, and I can. Mine is easy.
Oh, well, I mean, it's just like you said, you can do it. Some things, you can do all day, right? And to make it easy is I like it, right? I love to do it. So it makes it easy for me. Sometimes you get lost and don't realize what time it is. I'll give you a perfect example. Last night. Yeah, last night we didn't get home like 2 a.m. because it's like, oh, wow, I didn't even realize how late it was, and I got to work in the morning. So, we were just out there doing what we do. And like you said, the work part is actually the 9-to-5. Everything after that is kind of a pleasure.
Yeah. And for me, it's a little bit different. So my 9-to-5, I absolutely love what I do. Meaning, if my company quit me today, that is a passion of mine that I could continue on. I started off as an operator on the shop floor out of high school, and then continued that career in the pharmaceutical industry, young, married, husband, babies and all. And when I tell you my gift made room for me, I was always curious, but I've launched into a rear of communication still in that sector. And so what I do is actually work with leaders to coach them, to pull out of them what's already in them and to transform organizations.
Yeah.
And I, looking like myself, have an opportunity to have a seat at the table where many people don't have that seat, to inform, to influence, and to create awareness. So all of those gifts that are inside of me, that's actually what I'm able to do in the business part. Dwayne runs all the renovation stuff. I'm able to tap into my creative side. And so I have the flexibility and the bandwidth to be creative in both realms. So I have to literally be very mindful that it's time to shut it off and go to sleep. When I'm at work, I'm at work. And when I'm at business work, I'm at business work. So I have to, our kids have interventions with us if we get too caught up.
Oh, so look, I'm glad you brought, because that was a good segue, because what I was thinking about is, when I worked at that event with you guys, one of the things that inspired me was the fact that your kids were there. And they weren't just, and to me, in my opinion, on the outside, like, they didn't seem like they were, forced to be, right? How sometimes they seemed like they wanted to be there and they were a part of it. And like, so me, I got 2 high school seniors about to graduate, and then I got 2 babies, and I've my whole career tried to figure out how to get them involved. Or how did that work for you guys? Was it a no-brainer for them and they were just like, yeah, I'll do it? Or did you have to coerce them the first few years to get them in?
We told them this is their business.
Right.
Every property that we walk, this is your house. We asked them, we actually interviewed them, and then they interviewed us. What do you want to be when you grow up? Not even the sky is the limit. What do you want your legacy to be?
Oh,
So we started to have conversations like this so that it is now the norm
yeah.
versus the outlier. And we don't force things on them, right? So there's some things they're really not interested in, but when they feel like they have a stake in the game or they are a stakeholder, it takes on a whole new meaning.
Yeah.
You got to get them up here one day, they'll tell you.
Yeah. We have deep conversations all the time, and they laugh at me all the time because I use metaphor after metaphor after metaphor. Like, what are you doing? Like, if this, with your situation, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
You can't just sit. You got to live. And I've never liked the fact that the more I work, the more money somebody else makes. It makes sense to me. Never have, never will. So I try to teach them the same thing. You got to go out here. You're not going to get rich working for somebody else.
Oh,
yeah.
Chris,
You're not going to get it.
I just thought about something too. So you know me, this is real life with us, right?
Yeah.
I think for me, a part of the secret sauce is leveraging the gifts in them. I'm not trying to create a mini me. Dwayne is not trying to create a mini them. But what gifts and talents do they have inside of them that they can continue to enhance and cultivate that will show them leadership? Because this is the training ground. This is like on-the-job training, so that when they go out into the world and do whatever it is that they want to do, they excel because they've had a place, a safe place to practice and to cultivate that gift. So they, in hand, walk taller when they know who they are. They stand, usually like they stand taller because they've been able to do it over there. So it's nothing over here they can't do.
Oh my gosh, that's so good. Like, and so another thing in there is what I loved about the name of the business, right, is legacy, because that's something that I thought about, and I wish I'd have thought about it earlier, right? And so now it's trying to figure it out. Has legacy always been something that you guys have been after, or did that come, halfway through your marriage? Like, at what point was legacy started being important to you guys?
That's funny. So this is it. This is an interesting story. Probably a story never told. We never really told. A part of this is.
I'm scared. I don't know what you're about to say.
No, I mean originally, when we were naming the company, that was the legacy that we were living. We were actually thinking about taking on a name actually started by my grandmother. So we were actually even thinking about taking on that name because it was a family name. It was a family business that she set up for everybody to build LLCs or whatever they wanted to build under that umbrella. But as we talked about it, we talked about it with our CPA, and he was like, what is it really bringing to the table? Like, what is it bringing? Is there anything associated with it that's going to really help you guys with what you're doing? And we came up with the solution that, maybe we should start our own legacy, build something with our children, build something going further. But yeah, legacy has always been something that's important because, I think so much was instilled in us from others, so much was given to us and others, so much was poured into us, and so much was we were so protected by others as far as our gifts and making sure that we move forward in life. I think that legacy is important. We can't let that oil stop flowing there. It's got to flow down.
Yeah, and I feel just supercharged because even prior to this, I had a conversation with my mom, and I literally feel that each and every one of us has royalty running through our veins. Like, it's that deep, and it can't die with me. It just can't.
Oh man, that's so good. And so something interesting you just said, Dwayne, about I think you said your grandmother had already had
yeah.
So was it, as you guys as younger, were you thinking about entrepreneurial stuff, or was it like, when did that hit?
Like I said, it has always been a thing for me. Like, I worked hard growing up. We didn't really have a lot going on as far as I'm speaking for my family, my side. We didn't really have a lot. You know what I mean? So I look at other people do things and go, do different places, and I just knew that it was more out there. There was more out there for me. Like I was always limited, and then sometime or other, we come to the thing, be the change you want to see, right? You got to be that change. and I wanted to see things. I wanted solutions for problems, and I wanted to get to different levels and different things. And nobody was there for for that information. I didn't get that information from anybody. I couldn't find what I needed, so I tried to be. I wanted to be that solution for somebody else. And I knew one thing: I was good with my hands, and people were always asking me to do things, and I could fix just about anything, or do a load of things. And so that's how it started for me. Just people asking, "Hey, can you build a fence?" It all started with a fence. Can you put up a fence? Nah, I never done it, but it doesn't look that hard. Go out there and try it, start. And then, hey, I want an A-frame built on the side of the house. Can you do that? Let me call somebody. And, and that's how it all started, and just took off from there on the beginning. But it didn't start a company, it's just entrepreneurship, just wanted to do something that, I had control over the flow.
Yeah. And I think for me, I'll be quick on it. I always shied away from entrepreneurship because I didn't understand the word. I moved in a safe space. I would say this, even though, because I think we all sense it if we're honest with ourselves, I knew always there was more to me than meets the eye. I just didn't know where or how. But as I reflect back on it, I remember being in middle school, braiding hair, doing girls' hair, making my money on the side. In high school, I did different things with creativity to make money. I've always operated in that vein. And even when I moved into the corporate sector, I always found myself on the side where it's almost like a corporate entrepreneur. I was creating and building global initiatives and programs that were deployed to countries. And so I began to think, and it's not about the money, but it's the concept, right? Do I want to make $100,000 for a billion-dollar company? Or do I want to become the CEO of what we're building? And in addition, for now, stay within this multiple stream. So it's just a mindset shift and paradigm shift for me.
And Chris, I always knew that she had it, right?
No, this dude.
And I was trying to be her Flavor Flav. I was trying to be the hype man, trying to pushing her out there to do different things. And we ended up working in the same space together. And I was just like, man, Shaun, you just like, I know you at home, but when I get here, I really see like a different side of you. And I really think you could do like some different stuff.
So now the tables are turned and I'm trying to have a conversation with him a year from now. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so good. And so in that, again, you guys are just leading the conversation, because the segue for that is me wondering, as a couple, was it easy when you guys came to work together to know who played what roles, or did played her to shake his head? He's like, no, I won't. Okay.
She don't know if I think it was some figuring out that had to be done, but I think naturally we kind of shifted into our positions, and we kind of found the lines as we move along. And then sometimes I have to go over this side, she has to go on that side. But we naturally kind of found the lines. We didn't define them at first. We just jumped into it, and everybody doing everything, and it was not working. So we just had to go back to the table and say, hey, you great at this, you're great at this, okay, you take care of that, So it's a push-pull situation. Sometimes when she's pulling, I'm not going to pull, I'm just going to push, just have to kind of fall in. And that's all about leadership, really. So if you're going to be a leader, in order to be a good leader, you got to know how to follow, right? And if she's doing something great, I'm not going to pull against it. Even if it's not the best way, I'm going to push to make it go through, and then we'll talk about it on the other side,
Ooh,
we operate in zones of genius.
Yeah, that's so good. And that's what I was wondering, because I know, like, with me personally, that was one of the things me and my wife, we had tried a couple times on a couple projects, and we're like, all right, we need to figure out some other stuff before we jump into business, because I personally am just an overdriver, and like I am so used to controlling everything. And so she's like, look, all right, Hoss, you need to chill a little bit. So that's why I was like, I just had to hear that from you guys. And so a little bit more about what you guys do now in the business, right? Are there just certain types of real estate investments that you guys are doing, or are you kind of dabbling in different methods, or what's your flavor?
So our flavor for now primarily is the fix and flip piece of it, right?
Yeah.
But I will say, and you will hear this from a lot of real estate investors and just business savvy people, the true way of building generational wealth is really with the buy and hold, right? You're able to purchase a property, you're able to get someone in there, help them have a better way of life. They're essentially paying that property off, and you can use that to leverage it for other things. For us to fix and flip, we understand our market, the market that we're in now, and it's very, very lucrative in the area because we were able to go into an area of an underserved community. So our mission drove what we wanted to do as far as our exit strategy. We essentially go into underserved communities. We fix those houses up, give them TLC, put them back on the market for affordable housing, and then we are able to allow someone else to buy it and have a better quality of life. It serves us from a personal aspect. Financially, we are able to hire crews and give them jobs. We're able to bring that community up. And then the money that we make, we reinvest it back into the community until now you have a whole block that's transformed. Like, that is so cool. Dwayne can tell you about the longer term.
Yeah, that's it, though. I mean, basically, this flow, really understand the market. I mean, understand what people are asking for. You know, right now, the real estate industry is up. Like the market is up. It's a seller's market. So, I mean, we're going to flow with it until it changes, and then when it changes, we'll change strategy. I mean, we've got a long-term strategy, you know, of course, but what's the quickest way for us to get there to our long-term strategy? And that's basically what we do. And as we go on, we'll review it periodically and see, okay, where are we at now? Where's the market at? What is it telling us? You know, what do we need to do? Do we need to move on? Eventually, we may get to new construction. You know, we may build subdivision. You know, it's just depending on what the market is telling. Hey,
okay.
Upscale, might have an apartment building, might build a theme park. I don't know. You know, just depending on what people are asking for.
Yeah, I love that. I love the flexibility in it and how it can change. And so one of the things you said was the affordable housing piece, right? And so I always get into these conversations with people a lot because we're in this capitalistic society, right? And everybody's like, no, you just got to make as much as possible. And so when people say, well, no, we just try and make, we know what the profit is, but we can make profit and still help people. Why is that part important?
Oh, my goodness. It's important because, number one, from an integrity standpoint, so this comes to core values as an entrepreneur. If you are not rooted and grounded in your core values, you will let money drive you. But that's not true success. We had a property recently that we closed on. We could have made $80,000 out of the deal. We put $30,000, and this is just numbers so you can understand it, back into the deal because that was a single mother with a family. Yeah. And we wanted to make sure that she was set up for success. Right. That she didn't have, that we're just not leaving her. We're not dropping her. That's not a part of our mission is to leave and drop. Our mission is to help and to support and uplift. And in turn, we're going to get that back. Right. But if you're not anchored to your mission, you're going to make all kinds of decisions. I want to be able to sleep at night. And I want to know that if I were not here anymore and that was my daughter, someone would give her that same opportunity.
That's so good, the mission part. Because earlier you guys were talking about, your gift making room for you and just in that, like, because of me, I ain't gonna lie, I struggle sometimes. Sometimes I'm just like, if somebody willing to pay it, I'm gonna mark that thing up till they pay.
Now wait, hold on, Chris. Though here's the thing: there are pieces of it. For example, we have programs that we do. We do VIP coaching. We have mentoring groups. When we know the value that we bring, that's one piece of it. And it is important for people to invest in themselves. Right. So I'm never selling you anything. You're making an investment in yourself and in your future.
Yeah.
However, when it comes to matters of the heart and there's an opportunity to make sure that you align to your mission, you always want to do the right thing. So when you have those core questions, am I doing the right thing? Could I sleep at night? If I woke up in the morning and this story was on the front center of the news page, how would I feel, and would my mother be proud? Those are the questions that we ask. But when it comes to products and services that have value, I want you to invest in you. And sometimes if it's so accessible, people underestimate the value.
Yeah. That part right there.
Mm-hmm.
So how long have you been doing the coaching part? Because the main part of the coaching, you were saying that's based on the real estate, correct? Or
Yeah, well, it's twofold. So there are two things that happen. Number one, I in the corporate world, like I said, I do all of that stuff, right? But when it came to the personal, I'm like, okay, we're going to do this real estate. We're going to do the one thing. You and I rock in this community, MMC, right? And Coach Glenn even helped me with the one thing. He was like, get great at the one thing first. And then my mentor, Dr. Joyce, said, but be all the things. You can be all the things, just not all the things that are all the time. So what happened is that for me in particular, women started asking me, we know you're just getting started, but there seems to be this secret formula to what you and your husband have going on. In your workspace, there seems to be this secret formula to what you have going on. We want the blueprint so we can make our dreams become alive. And so for a long time, I shied away from it until I began to change my mindset and say, am I doing a disservice? Am I literally sitting on a gift that God has given me and I'm not using it because I'm making it about me when it's never about me, beyond me? Yeah.
That's so good, because that's one of those things I struggle with. Was I didn't want to I didn't want to sell information because and I feel like you guys know, especially in the real estate space, right? There's so many people out there that are like, oh, I can help you make $100,000 tomorrow.
Yeah.
But Chris, it's hard though because people ask you questions, and we for a long time we just answer them, sit them down. Hey, I can bring you through the whole thing. Let me tell you. Let me help you. Bring you to the conference so you can learn. Then that like the conference, we barely even had a charge for it. It was even. I don't even know if we covered the building that we were in, as far as sales go. We were just trying to share the information. But, people will get that information, then they'll go home and won't do anything with it. But, when people pay for something, when they really pay for that information, they look at it a little different. Now it's an investment because, okay, now I put my money on it. So now I got to do something with it, or I just wasted my money. So, they'll waste your time, but they don't want to waste their money. So you just have to be careful.
That part, and then the last thing that I'll say is when you have an opportunity for people to invest, you're able to now reinvest and impact more people. Yeah. I can't spread my net wide if I don't have the resources to be able to do it. Like we can all eat together, really. Yeah. I want us to, but it's about making an impact and just having that ripple effect that continues to make a positive impact in the world.
Yeah, because I think what drove us to that conference was the number of people who were asking, the number of people who would come and say, I want to learn, I want to know. So, instead of trying to spend 50 hours, telling 50 people, if I can just get y'all all together in one place and sit y'all down, we can walk through this together. And we try to get everybody in all the pieces together. So if you had questions that I couldn't answer, there was somebody to answer your question. So to really give them a solid foundation. So
that's so good. And like the great part about the conference again is like I didn't come as an attendee, right? I came to help you guys on the tech side, and then I was like, I'm sitting there taking notes myself. Like, hold on, how after the event did you have conversations with people or follow people to see how many people actually followed through with the information? Because it was such good information. Like I was there. I'm not a real estate guy by no means at this point. Obviously, it's a future thing. But do they follow up? Do you guys feel like it was worth it for you?
So before we go there, what I'm going to say is thank you, Chris, number one, for supporting us. Because as entrepreneurs, sometimes we feel like we can do it all, but you literally allowed us to operate in our zone of genius. where we didn't have to focus or worry about anything else. So because of that, I know that people's lives were enriched because we weren't spread too thin. And I would hate to bring somebody somewhere and then we're not able to afford. So that's the first thing. Thank you. The second thing is there have been so many testimonies that have brought us to tears. This year, we're actually bringing a young lady back to be one of the speakers. She was inspired in the room, and she's doing more than we are now. This woman has written a book. She's talking about 50 ways to build generational wealth. She is out there buying up houses and blocks. She has a mentoring program. There was something that was ignited inside of her, and she just needed to be in the room with like-minded individuals and someone to say that you can. And so in addition to that, we've had VIP clients that are now purchasing their first properties, moving in their space, have their LLC set up, their business, their mission. We have people that are moving now to nonprofit spaces. Their dreams are becoming alive. We have books that have been written out of it. Like it is,
that's crazy.
When I tell you super crazy, like, whoa.
And then there's people that they're not really, that I know that not really saying a lot, but they're moving behind the scenes and they're doing big things. And I really can tell, that they're making a difference.
Yeah. So this year is about the evidence.
That's so good and I had to ask because, like I said, I was there, I saw the information. I'm like, this is so good. And because I think you said you were talking about it earlier too, Dwayne, when you said, people ask you for free and they don't do nothing. And they're like, all right, let me charge you a little something and make it worth it. Man, so this year, is it going to be bigger this year? Are you keeping it kind of the same size so you got just new people coming in, or what's the thought behind it?
So this year the concept is bigger.
Okay.
However, we want to keep an intimate environment.
Yeah.
And that's really, really important because we need to touch and feel the people, and we need a space for them to be able to ask. So the rundown of it is, and what we've learned even on our journey is, real estate is a key component, and that is one way to build generational wealth. We have essentially attracted entrepreneurs and business owners that say, again, even if real estate is not my dream, I want the blueprint. So this year, we are actually bringing in our Wealth Roundtable Live Edition. So we will have real estate brokers, general contractors, wholesalers. We have a couple that raised money for their first investment property. So we're talking about how to become the bank. We not only want to talk about making money, but how you grow money and sustain money. So we have a gentleman that's coming in from a financial literacy standpoint, and he's a financial advisor to talk about trust and estate, other investments. And then we have a business coach who's coming in to talk about how you make all of your dreams come true, literally by using what's in your hands. So we are talking about the what, we're talking about the how, and our prayer is that people will leave out with something physically to take it to the next step of obtaining their dream promise.
Hey, that's so good. And look, you hit me with the other thing. I totally forgot even about the show that you guys have. What made you guys even jump into that? Like, I got to ask that because, I'm the content guy, right? So I got to even, why?
Yeah. Dwayne, tell me why. Because this is interesting again. Let me see what he's going to say, Chris.
It was all her, Chris. She did it. She threw me in there. And, no, we were, how did we get started with the show? Like, what was really the driving force behind the show? There was a lot going on at that time. So,
what do you think it was? I'm just curious. This is good. This is like real.
Good.
I don't know because I can't remember like what drove the show to become a show, because we were actually, I think we interviewed them, but what made it become a show? Because I can't remember.
I'll pick it up from here.
Yeah, it was a lot going on at that time. I can't really remember.
So the show actually came from us learning how to leverage our voice and have even more of an impact and influence. And there are a couple of business communities that I do run in, and they encourage me, like, get out there, tell your story. How do you make an impact beyond just selling a home? And
Yeah.
so what we knew and what we do know is wealth is so like money, that's just one piece of it.
Yeah.
Again, if you don't have a mission, if you're not anchored, if you're not connected to purpose, like what you're doing it for, right? And so we started out on this mission to really redefine the meaning of wealth. So we're like, okay, the wealth roundtable. So we'll talk about real estate, but we're going to talk about family, and we're going to talk about ownership, and we're going to talk about what it means to be an entrepreneur. Shoot, we're going to talk about what it's going to be like when it gets hard. Like, what does it look like when you thought it would work and it didn't? Right?
That's so good. Yeah.
And so it just kind of evolved and grew into now something that we are so excited about. We also knew, and I'll say this, that we wanted to get people to the right people.
Ooh,
right? So we're not the expert. Like Chris is the expert, the bomb.diggity.com when it comes to all this digital stuff and how to move in these streets.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how to do that. But what I can tell you is I know a man named Chris that can tell you how to do it. So Chris needs to come on the show. Hint, Chris needs to come on the
show. Now, when you say that, that reminds me, like when we first got started, like we were building, she was building a website and we would listing all these different things. And I was like, people are going to be confused. Right? They're not going to know exactly what it is that we do. They want to know. They're going to say, okay, well, what exactly? She's like, no, I think it's cool. They're going to understand. And then we went and people say, now, what exactly is it that you guys do? Because there's a lot of stuff on that website. There's a lot of stuff. So, I mean, we kind of redefined our purpose. And I think this show is kind of giving us, we still coming right back to where we started, right? I think we just needed to be clear for other people. But we were clear the entire time on what our goals were as far as encouraging people, lifting people, coaching people, teaching, and bringing people along for the journey. And I think what happened is that show gave us that great platform to do that. It gave us an opportunity to add in all of those other things. We kept the website mainly real estate, but we still never lost sight of what we really had going on and what we wanted to do. And that show actually brought us that back, and actually gave us a platform to do that. So I want to say thanks to those guys for doing that.
That's so good. Because it's one of those things that I try to tell people too, right? Is that you guys were saying, your zone of genius, right? You know your thing. There are people behind you that don't know but want to know, and so it's like, how do you give back to them? And again, you can also still be selfish with it in the content side, right? Because now you have this content that more people can discover you and find you. And so I love that you guys did that. Like that's, y'all know me long enough. No content is, I'm always excited about content. For your kids, do they seem to be following in some of your footsteps, or do they have their own dreams and they just kind of took the space that you gave them to grow and are doing their own thing, or what's?
So, man, I can say that we started young with them, instilling different concepts in them and just different ways of thinking. And I always go back to this story whenever we talk about it. I remember when my kids were young, like maybe 3, 7, and 10, somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
And what I did, I took them to the back door and I was like, I want y'all to knock down this door. My oldest daughter looked at me. She's 10, or 9, somewhere in there. She looked at me. She looked at that door. She was like, this is crazy. I'm going back. I'm going in. And I looked at my second daughter. I said, hey.
And this is all aligned to their personalities. So the oldest daughter is very structured, very strategic. It's going to make sense.
Okay.
No nonsense.
So then, my new baby girl, I said, hey, knock down this door. She looked at me. She looked at that door. She backed up, and she ran full speed into that door. Boom! Hit it twice. I was like, check my door.
Personality, very determined. You're not going to tell me what you can't do.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, all right. So I'm just trying to figure out who are they. So then I asked my baby girl. I said, hey, knock down this door. So she looked at me, she looked at her mom, she looked at her two sisters. She walks over to the door, she's knock, 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 knock. So she knocked on the door from top to bottom. So I'm like, okay, I just want to see what would happen.
Third personality, learn from everybody else.
Oh my gosh, that's so good.
And use it. So, basically, just trying to understand their personalities and what they would do, just to kind of get an idea of who they are. But we try to talk to them and get them to understand concepts and basically don't matter what you do, don't matter how you do it, just have a goal in mind, have an end goal in mind.
Yeah.
Think about the steps to get there and what you got to do, to start. And that's what they are. And they are all doing great, doing amazing things. They all have great dreams. And I try to, we try to instill in them that it's not even the sky's the limit. I get that from Shaun. Not even the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
Because when you get there, guess what? It's still gonna be more room to go up. So and they just take off. They just taking off with it, man. And I can't even get into like all the different things and ideas that they've talked about and brought forward.
Yeah. I'll say this, the evolution of that, like if we fast forward, one of my proudest moments as a mom is our oldest daughter sent us a text not even a week ago. And she talked to us about a great opportunity that just was an amazing opportunity. And she said, look at Mom and Daddy got me out here reaching for the stars. Like that thing made me feel so good because they came back to tell us.
Yeah.
When they inspire us to do more.
Yeah.
That's so good.
And that's real because I mean, and that's something that my mom taught me, and even though sometimes she would forget that in some of the conversations we would have, but I don't care what job it is, apply for it. Just apply for it. If it's a vice president, apply for it. Because either they're gonna tell you yes or they're gonna tell you no. If you don't, it's definitely a no. So, you just got to reach for it. And it's funny because I had an opportunity once and I kept applying for these jobs. I was temporary, and that's how I got into this position I'm in now, kind of in the zone. Basically, applying for jobs, kept applying for jobs. The manager called me in, basically asked me, like, is something wrong? I was like, no. He's like, is somebody bothering you? Is there a problem? I was like, not at all. He was like, I said, why are you asking me these questions? He was like, man, because it doesn't matter what position I post, right? It doesn't matter. I know that I'm gonna have at least one application, and that's gonna be yours. And I said, listen. One thing I noticed when I walked in this door that these people are asleep, right? They are asleep. They don't want anything. I know that there's opportunities out here for me. I'm temporary. Yeah. I'm trying to get in the door. I got goals. That's my first goal is to get in the door. I don't care what position it is. I just need to get in the door. So he was like, and I said, and then from there I can go, and do my thing. So basically, I pass this on, right?
Yeah.
Whatever it is, if you want to get in the door, you got to apply for something. You got to get in there. That's all you got to do is get your foot in the door and show people what you can do. Your first impression is your last impression. So make sure when you get in the door, you take off.
So, personality, daredevil. Yeah. Me, I'm just going to build the door.
Oh my gosh, that's so good. I'm gonna have to do that test now. When I get home, like I learned this, guys. Let me let's try something. Oh my gosh, what? Man, that's so good. What's next for you guys? Like, so I know you guys got the event coming up, and then you guys got the show going on. What else you guys got going on that you want to tell the people about?
So I'm so excited. We will have our event in November.
Mm-hmm.
And then we are going to be releasing some digital self-paced products.
Nice.
For individuals who may have a really I don't want to say busy, but productive life, right? And they need to move at their pace with an opportunity for community and membership that they're able to come into. So we really want to maximize our time and our potential and our outreach. In addition to that, you listen, Chris, I'm getting ready to tell the air something I ain't even talked to my husband about. Oh goodness. No, it's not bad. But I feel inside of me volumes and chapters of another book. Last year, we were able to co-write and co-labor our first book entitled From Vision to Full Execution. And this year, and I'll be really honest with you, that was a book it was a short collection, high-level story to inspire people. And it was actually like a strategy to execution plan based on our lives. This next book is a little bit of a peek behind the veil
that's good.
into the life of Shaun. Yeah, the evolution from a child to now, and the nugget. And I have a whole big, wonderful, nice feature for Mr. Venable.
I'm afraid.
She said, "You the daredevil, man. You ain't allowed to be afraid. You supposed to jump out the plane."
I never thought about that, but I guess that would be my personality. I'm probably a daredevil.
I need you in my life.
I'm a daredevil. I don't accept no for anything. I'll go. I'm all go.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I appreciate you guys. Like, the one of the big reasons I love doing podcasts, right, is because we've been around each other before, but we've never had this conversation. And so I appreciate you guys taking the time out because, like I said, from afar, there are things that I've seen from you guys that just gave me the opportunity to ask those questions, and you guys for being so transparent and open to sharing that. Because my hope is that people that watch this will go, "Oh wow, like they can do that thing, I can do that thing." Whether it's the family piece or the fact that you are, like you said, the 9-to-5 corporate athlete, that you don't have to quit your job to do the side thing that's your passion. Like you can do both if you want to, but the key is you say it because you want to. That's what I love about it. So
when you start resenting being there, that's something different.
Right, exactly. Tell the people, where can they follow you guys? So as you know, all the things that you guys announce, so that way they can follow up and see what you got going on in the future. And when that book drops, where can they find you?
So got DSV Legacy Estates.com. We're on Facebook, Instagram, DSV Legacy Estates. So any of those social media platforms or email or webpage, you go to our webpage, you can find links for some of the stuff that we are doing, upcoming events. You can see some of the stuff we've done in the past. Even have a YouTube channel, DSV Legacy Estates. So just look us up. We're here. We out there.
And please sign up because, I do a lot of things with the ladies, and I'm talking about this whole book thing, right? But the fellas, they've been like, yo, and Dwayne is just like stepping out. So just sign up, gentlemen, because there's some exciting things coming. But we used to call him Russ, but his name is all the way Dwayne now, like Dwayne.
Changed me over to Rev Run now.
I love that. Oh my gosh, so excited. Again, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for taking the time out to record this, and so much. Any last parting words you want to leave with the people?
Oh no, man. Just be you. You know what I mean? Discover who you are. Be honest with yourself. You're not who people say you are. You're not, your past. You're not, just your persona is. You're not what people think you are. Not what people want you to be. Be yourself. And figure out what it is that's in you and bring that out and go with it. So
that's so good.
Move forward.
So good.
The best thing you can ever do for yourself is take a step forward.
Oh my gosh, so many nuggets. Shaun, did you have one for him too?
See why I like him?
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I think the only thing that I'll say is something that my mother told me today. You are an answered prayer.
Yeah.
Simply put, just get out there and do the thing. Someone is looking for you. Someone is waiting for you to show up. Show up.
Yeah. But they say what you're looking for is also looking for you.
Yeah.
Whatever you're looking for is also looking for you.
Yeah, y'all dropping too many nuggets. Y'all going to set the podcast on fire. Look, again, thank you guys so much. Thanks for checking out this episode of the Mastermind Thinks podcast. I'm going to have all in the description, whether you're listening or watching this on YouTube. Check out the description down below. All their links will be down there, so you can make sure to follow them and see what they have going on. And until next episode, see you then.
Yeah.
Yeah.